In this new tutorial, we're going to see how to modify the title tags of your page. Why do this? Simply to implement a test and learn approach and test which versions of your titles have a better CTR. So very interestingly, in this tutorial, we're going to look at two things. The first is how to retrieve variables and reuse them to rebuild your title tag. And the second is how to retrieve an element on the page so that if I have this element, I'll modify my title. Otherwise, I'll keep my current title. And this little element is going to be the bon plan. Good deal. We'll create a different title tag if there's a bon plan on my page. So we're going to create the target. We're going to use the request path. And here we're going to use match in regex because we want it to match with all the product pages. And for it to match with all the product pages, we need to target URLs that end with a number followed by .html. So it's pretty simple in the case of Cdiscount because all their product pages end with an ID and HTML. Next, we move on to the next step, and here we're going to create variables. This is where it gets really interesting because we can extract variables from the page. The first one will be whether it's a bon plan, good deal, and what we'll do is extract the div that contains the bon plan. So you see, it's this div right here. If it exists on the page, I'll modify the title, and if it doesn't, I'll put the standard title back. To do this, I give my variable a name. Here it's isBonPlan, and for the CSS selector, I just copy and paste the selector and extract the text. Next, we're going to add another variable. So for the title, we're going to retrieve the page's title so that if it's not a good deal, we can restore the original page title. Let's continue. We're going to create a variable for the product name because the title contains a lot of information. And what will matter to us when we want to rebuild the product's title tag is to have just the name. So here, once again, we give a name to the variable. We set the CSS selector. So in this case, it's h1 with the ID product name. And if I show you here in the code, that's what it corresponds to. To select using a CSS selector, you use the tag name. When it's an ID, you use a hash symbol. And when it's a class, you use a dot. So here we write h1 #r product name, and that will allow us to retrieve the entire product title. All right, let's continue. We're going to get the price. So it's always the same process, product price, and we're going to retrieve it from the div. In this case, it's a class. So we use div.salesPrice to get the product price, which is located here. And finally, we're going to set up a global variable simply to store the brand name. This is just to show you as an example that you can set a global variable and then reuse it later in all the SEO recipes at the next step. So now we've configured the variables. You can retrieve as many elements as you want from the page so you can reuse them later during the SEO recipe step. And so now we're going to use the body title recipe. The first thing we're going to do is click in the field and use the little F tab for function. And we're going to use the if-else function. There's a little documentation. We're going to click on it and you'll see some things have appeared in the field. This is what we call conditional logic. If a variable is equal to something, you display something. Otherwise, you display something else. And in our case, we're going to take a little shortcut. We're not going to check if it's equal to something. We're simply going to check if isBonPlan exists. Basically, when you do this, it just checks if it's true or false. So if we have this tag in the source code, it's going to be true. And if we don't have it, it will be false. And then here, we're going to add the new title. If we have this tag, isBonPlan. So here, we're going to put a little promo. After that, I'll add a little dash. We're going to put the product name. We're going to put the product price, and we're going to put the brand name Quicksilver. And if this good deal tag is not present in the page's source code, we simply keep the current title as it is. So there you go. Now we're going to remove the little text that was automatically added. And just like that, you'll save your rule, save the recommendation. So now let's check with SEO Mignon. So here you can see the title tag of my page. It's promo vintage logo, short sleeve t-shirt for men at 22 euros and 50 cents by Quicksilver. I could also have added the mention of 50% off or something else. Now let's look at another random page that doesn't have the good deal mentioned here. So here we're on a page where there is no good deal mentioned. And you'll see the title tag hasn't changed. So this allows you to run tests conditionally. If there's something on the page, I do this. Otherwise, I do something else. There you go. I hope this tutorial will be useful to you. Be aware that in the case of NavBoost, it can be very interesting to test your title tags to see which ones perform best in the search results and get the most clicks. Because clicks are really an important signal for Google's algorithm, especially the one called NavBoost. So obviously, if after that the person arrives on your site and does what's called pogo sticking, that will send a negative signal to Google. But if the person stays, browses the page because you offer a good user experience on your site, then you can say you've won and that potentially you're going to gain positions in the SERPs.